Hi everyone, Janie here, and have you ever wanted to make a twist and pop card like this, but thought it was too difficult, too complicated, just something that you couldn't do? Well, that's going to change today because I'm going to show you an easy, fail-proof way to make this mechanism, and it doesn't require any special tools, just a paper trimmer or ruler and scissors. However you cut your paper or cardstock, that's all you're going to need. So, let me show you. For this tutorial, I'm using paper and not cardstock. And you can use paper for this mechanism if you want, but cardstock is much sturdier. Okay? But what you're going to need is 2 pieces of 3-inch by 8.5-inch cardstock or paper, and that's really easy to do because cardstock is 8.5 inches by 11 inches, so you're just going to be cutting right across and cutting off 2 3-inch strips. And once you've done that, you're going to take one of the strips and you are going to fold it in half, like so. Okay, easy, right? Then you're going to take one end and you're going to fold it back. And you're going to fold it right to the end. Don't have it go over the end or anything, just right to the end. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to fold that over and fold it right to the end. Crease that really nice. And you are going to create an M or a W, however you want to look at it. But we're going to look at it as an M, okay? Next, I'm going to set that aside. You're going to grab the other piece and you're going to fold it in half lengthwise. And if you have a scoreboard and you want to do that, you can. If you want to use a ruler to measure and then actually, here, hold on, I'll show you. I'm making a mess only because I don't want to even tell you why, because I really can't see what I'm doing while I'm recording. But if you wanted to, you can use a ruler to make your crease line, okay? But however you do it, just make sure that you fold it in half. And this is easier when I'm like this, doing it right here next to me instead of out here on camera. Okay, so once you folded it lengthwise, then you're going to open it up and you are going to fold it in half the other direction. Okay? And once you do that, you should really go back over your folds or score lines, making sure that they are creased really well. And then the next thing I'm going to do, you don't have to do, and even if you do it, it won't show. But I'm going to do this just so you can see it better on camera. So I'm going to draw a line right along that fold, just like that. And I'm going to turn it over and draw a line right against this fold on the opposite side, which again, between the lighting and it being away from me, it's hard to tell. But I think I got it just right. Hold on. Because you want to get it right on there. Like I said, you don't have to do that. I'm just doing that so it shows up better on camera. And that one still isn't dark enough. I'm just going to go like this. Make it darker. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do, and you know what? Let me move this up just a little bit closer for you. Okay? Yep, I have a wonderful table that does that thanks to my daughter. She got it for me for Christmas. Okay, so you're going to take this score line that we put the ink on, and you're going to line it up with that score line or fold. Okay, you see that? All right, now without changing the direction of your paper, You're going to do the same thing on the other side, lining it up so that it creates a straight line, just like that. Okay, so those are your folds. Next, you're automatically, or the paper is going to automatically kind of dent in right here. Okay, you are going to fold on those angled lines. And when you do that on one side, the other side pretty much follows. Okay, so you're going to do that, and you're going to have what looks like a house. Okay, and you have your fold lines right here on both sides. Okay, I want you to just kind of fold it a little bit, you know, give it a good crease, because we're going to change directions of everything. So here's your house. Okay, you're going to fold that in. Okay, and you're going to take your other one, turn that over, and you're going to fold that in. And now, hold on a second here. Now you have a house with legs. That's what I'm going to call them, legs. And do your best to make sure that everything is lined up. I know that sometimes in folding things don't get exactly straight, so just kind of go over your folds and do your best to make sure that everything is lined up. Now, it's not unusual to have one leg a little bit longer than the other, and you can either leave it that way or grab your scissors and just make a little cut to even it up with the other one. Okay, now for this next part I need to move my table back down because this is a little bit hard for me to work with the table up that high. Okay, so what we're going to do next is you are going to take your M, okay, and with, let me see, everything moved when I moved the table, with the ends facing down, okay, with the mountain folds facing up, okay, and the other ends facing down, you're going to line them up on here with, on the right hand side and on the left, you're going to flip that over, okay, and let me see if I can get this up close to the light. The light is actually glaring a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. Hold on. Okay, I've actually turned off the lights in hopes that it'll make it easier for you to see. So this is the leg over the top on the left, and this is your paper over the top on the right. I'm going to turn it toward me, and I'm going to lift that up, and I'm going to put the glue right there. So I'm putting the glue on the leg, okay, and about an inch up. So if you have something to measure an inch, I kind of have my mat here if I want to lay it next to the grid to measure an inch, but I've done this enough to kind of eyeball it. You can use a ruler, but about an inch, okay? And then you are going to adhere that part of the M right there. Make sure everything lines up, the edges and the bottom, so that everything lines up. Now, this side is glued, this side is not, okay? You're going to turn it over, and when you do that, everything will be the same as before. This will be on the right, and the other will be on the left. And again, you're going to put the glue. You could also use double-sided tape. But anyways, you're going to put the glue or whatever adhesive you're using about 1 inch for the bottom. So cover the whole 1 inch section. Then you're going to do the same thing. You are going to line everything up so that it lines up with the bottom and it lines up on the side. Okay? And again, I'm just kind of smoothing everything out as I go along. Okay, so that is done. And now we have the mechanism. What do we do next? Okay, well, I have a card base made out of paper because, like I said, I'm just using paper for what I'm doing right now. And so this is, let me see, I'll put it over here where you can see it better. I'm sorry. So this is 5.5 inches by 4.5, your regular A2 size card. And this one is a top fold, but I'm going to show you that this will also work with a side fold. Not necessarily this side fold, but it will work whether it's this way or that way, or if it is that way. This is perfect for an A2 size card. However, it will work in other size cards. So next, I'm going to put adhesive on the back side, only this triangle, okay? Nowhere else. So I'm just gonna put that right on there. And next, I'm going to line it up with, try to turn it your direction, with the fold of the card, okay? You don't want it to go over the fold of the card. You want it to be right up to the fold, and you want to center it. So I'm going to turn it toward me, and I'm just eyeballing this, okay? And we're going to call that good, all right? Now you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're only going to put it on the triangle piece, okay? Nowhere else, just the triangle piece. And we're going to close that. Now, I used wet glue, and even though it has a really quick tack because I use my Beacon 3-in-1, it still takes it just a minute to dry. And so while this is drying, I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit. In the card that I made, and sorry, I had to run across the room to get it. I made mine so that these squares are about 2 inches, okay? Because when you make this fold, each square will be approximately 2 inches wide. And how tall you make it can vary. And like I said, I made mine 2 inches, which means when I cut those strips of paper, instead of cutting them 3 inches by 8.5 inches, I cut mine 2 inches by 8.5 inches. So if you wanted to, then of course you could do it at 2 inches. It's the exact same directions that I just gave you. Nothing changes other than the size. So it still stays 8.5 inches this way, but you can change the height to 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 3.5 inches. I really wouldn't go too tall, and you have to take into consideration what you're going to be putting in those little panels there. And I knew I needed something that was going to work great for those circles. So, and by the way, do you notice how nicely this opens and closes? I just love it. I've seen other people's tutorials where the opening and closing just was difficult. In fact, I actually have a cutting die that I used a couple years ago to make these, and I said, this is not working. So I just had to figure out how to do this. And so now that I've got it in there, let's see if it's dry enough to open. That is something you have to watch for, so I'll point this out. If I used wet glue, and it can stick to things that it shouldn't stick to, making it really difficult to open. So you kind of have to go back through if you think your glue kind of got all over everything. So give me just 1 minute. Okay, so I could have cut that out, but I wanted you to see that that could happen. That if you're using a wet glue and it oozes out and other pieces glue together that shouldn't, you just have to go through and separate them. And that's all I did with this one, is I just went back in and separated the pieces. And there you go. That is how easy it is to make a twist and pop card. And I have it in this card and in this one where it's a top fold card. With the same card, you can make it go in the other direction and it'll pop up this way. Or you can also put it in a card that opens this direction, okay? And the only thing you do different is instead of hooking it to the top, you hook it to the side where that fold is, okay? So it doesn't matter which direction it goes. All you do is center that right where the fold is, just like I showed you on this one. And it will work for any A2 size card, but it'll also work for cards that are bigger or square. And I just think that this was the easiest thing, and I had to share it with you because I know a lot of my viewers might be beginners. You might not have, a scoreboard. You might get confused by too many directions and measurements and everything. And I'm not a beginner, and I love this way. All the other ways confuse the heck out of me. So I'm hoping that this is something that has helped you and, kind of makes you feel like, oh, wow, I can do a twist and pop card. That's my whole goal, is I want you to feel confident that you can do something this cool. And by the way, this card I made for Kendra's Card Challenge 14. And in tomorrow's video, I will show you all 15 cards that I made for her challenge. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow and that I didn't confuse you, because my whole goal was to show you how easy this is to do. And here on the screen are some other videos that might be of interest to you. If you like what you see, I hope that you subscribe and comment and share. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.